There we go. All right. So the assignment this week, we've got two parts. This the what we're focusing in right now is like we've looked at U properties. We looked at the class has a U class property, and we've looked at variables and members having the U property. We're going to look at U functions. I'm on 5.2 here, but like again, this hasn't changed at all. Like this is something that's not changing from version to version. So 5.2, 5.6, 5.7, it's the same. It's all the same code. And the idea here is that so again, remember in C++, we have the function prototype in the .h file. And that's where we will set up the U function attribute. Let's start back over here and I'm actually going to start content draw. Let me see. I'm going to create a blueprint class. It'll be an actor because I just want to throw it into the world. We'll call this the BP method example. And get that up here. Okay, just so that we can, so I have somewhere, so it has a place in the level. I'm just going to go and I'm going to add, I'm going to use this, I'll use a sphere. And I'm just for the sake, I'll put the use headstone forever. And it's stretched around the sphere. Hooray. This is so that we have, let me compile. So let me just drop this into the level here. Just so that I've got an object in the level to look at. Don't need to, not for what we're doing, because we're not, this is just cosmetic. And I'm going to continue with my lab 2 folder. Actually, let me file and save as. Save current level as, I'll save it as lab 3 now. And you can use this same level for lab 3, to be quite honest. All right. When we are looking at the U declaration, there's basically, here's U function specifier setting 1, and then there's meta stuff that you can do as well. Okay, this is interesting. All right, so the way things are being formatted on my screen is a little screwy. Let's see if I can get. Yeah, it's this. They've used a table here, and this is now being cut off. So just note that this is all one line. And I don't know why this is happening. Yeah. Anyways, there's a couple of blueprint authority only. This is a replication variable. So ignore this for right now. This is not the scope of this class in terms of replication is not the scope of this class as of right now. We'll talk after spring break whether I bring in replication or not. But basically the first one is blueprint callable. That means that this function can be executed in a blueprint or a level blueprint graph. Blueprint cosmetic. So it's cosmetic and won't run on dedicated server. Again, this is a so if you wanted a function call that spawned particles, that's something that you do locally and you wouldn't do on the dedicated server. So this is a replication function. Blueprint implementable event. This function can be implemented in a blueprint or can be implemented in a blueprint or level blueprint graph. We'll come back to this in a moment. A native event. We'll talk about events in a moment. But the other one that we want, that the big one here is blueprint here. So so what is a pure blueprint? We'll come back to one moment. But this is the other one that your assignment is concerned about, is basically blueprint pure. And I'm going to just grab, just so that. Okay. Can be called in on the editor on selected instances via button in the details panel. Create. And then category, this is basically this is the metadata stuff. So like we wanted to set a category on like what section that it falls under. Like we'll come back to that. Just trying to see server. These are all basically the one is exec. So this can be executed from the in-game console. So exec commands only function when declared within certain classes. So this is console commands. This is I can link console. I can link functions to be console commands. Only certain classes can implement this, and this is more going away per se. It's less used than you would think. This is more debug stuff would be exec. Multi-class reliable, sealed event, service request, service response, server unreliable with validate. These are all replication. So we're not going to worry about these. Just know that they're here. Yeah, that's the big one. Well, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure why you would use custom, to be quite honest. But anyways, again, the two that we're going to be focusing on this week is blueprint pure, blueprint callable. All right, let's jump back into this right here. And I'm going to jump to the event graph. Get rid of these guys. All right, and I'm going to make a new function. bb function normal, and then I'm going to make another one, bb function pure. All right. With a pure function. So this is the normal function. It's like, hey, here I can do whatever I want. I could have outputs. No big deal. With a pure function, you really have to have an output. Your pure, and we'll see why in a moment. Like the pure function doesn't make any sense unless you're not outputting some sort of information. So in my case, I'm going to take an integer, and I'm also going to put out. So this is going to be output. Input. And I'm just going to take the input and I'm just going to do a multiplication. I'm just going to multiply by 2, just so you can see what's going on here. And I'm going to grab. Should I do the grab thing? No. Let me go to the normal, and I'm just going to do a print. Normal function. All right, let's go back to the event graph. And actually, yeah, for the sake of argument, I'm going to go in and bring in begin play again. And I'm going to grab the normal function. And this is, as you've seen so far. Here's what the pure function looks like. And I didn't go back and I didn't actually tag it as pure. Here we go. So it comes it comes the green, and it comes one of these types of notes. So obviously, without giving it any, and this is the case, I'm going to go print string, and I'll put the output here, and I'll give it input of 1. So this is the pure function. It's basically a function that you call. It doesn't need to get wired into the exact nodes. So again, mathematical things are really good for pure functions. I probably should go back to your previous course and drop this a module about this in there as I think about it. But that's where these that's what these nodes are. They're pure functions. You know, they don't get called via the exact node. They just do their job. If we compile and we go back to, you can see right here, you can see 2 in the normal function. And I need to go back in. We can give this a duration of 2 seconds right now. So you can see the 2 right up here lasting. And again, that's 1 times 2 gives us our 1 times 2 gives us our 2. Let's go in. We'll do I'll do 32. And this now, when we go run the level, will give us a 64. So cool. All right. So let's build a new C++ class. And it's going to be an actor. And this is going to be CPP method example. Okay, for those who are on Discord, this is being recorded, so if you miss what I've done, then disconnect it. Reload all. There we go. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go in and we're going to basically, so one of the things you can see right here that the tick function right here and begin play, I mean, these are protected functions already. We'll leave these to the side, but let's make a new function. It'll be a void sum, we'll do an int sum function, int value. And then we're going to do another void int CPP actually, let's just call it add times 2. Void int times 3 pure. Okay, so this is where we would end up. Let's go back and make sure I'm grabbing this correctly. So these 2 I'm going to tag as UFunctions. The first one, again, they're both, again, we go back to, they're both going to be blueprint callable. So we can call these in Blueprint. This one, I'm going to make as Blueprint Pure. It's yelling right now because I haven't actually written, like I've defined the functions, but I haven't written the functions. So. All right, so let's just grab all of these. And where is my method here? There you go. Here's the CPP. All right, so let's add these in. So I need to grab the scope operator. Oh, I know what I've done wrong. Okay. Go back. I've added void in front of all of these guys. Okay. You know what? I'm going to call this, I'll make this easier. Add 1. Let's jump back. Don't need you. There you go. Add 1. So return value plus plus. And I am particular about my mathematical calculations. So I'm wrapping them in parentheses to be like firm. This is a mathematical calculations because I'm paranoid that it will do something funny otherwise. So I've had enough examples in other languages where I've become paranoid. Do you need to? Technically, no, but I think this is more. It pounds the idea that there's a mathematical calculation going on here. So that's why I go. All right, so I'm going to save this. Let's go back and let's now compile that class. All right, and I'm at create. So go to current intent draw. Here's the methods example class. I'm going to create a C++ blueprint class. I mean, I could technically throw this into the level. I'm just going to do I'm going to do BP because I want to show this the functions in action. So I'm going to make a blueprint class that inherits from it, so that I can then show that functioning in the level. Otherwise, I have to then throw an instance of this class. I mean, I could throw the C++. Well, I'll do it 2 ways. I'll do this first. So I'm going to create this class. Make sure I get in the this lab folder. Go back to lab 1. Oh, here it is. So I'm going to add. I'll use the cylinder just to show that it's something different. I'm just going to pick basic wall. Basic wall looks horrible. I'll throw the chair material on because that's weird. All right. Compile. Let's go to the event graph. So I'm going to use a begin play. So the first I'm going to look for is the add one function. It isn't there because I didn't tag it to be usable in Blueprint. So it's not showing up at all. But the times2 function is here. I'll give it a value of like 5. And it actually doesn't do anything, but I'm going to use a print string, and I'm just going to take the value and just shove it into here. Here's the times3, which is the pure function, which again, I'll shove that into a value of 5. And I'm going to make the duration of 10. I'm just going to copy and paste that. So here we go. So here is a version of this class. When it starts in the scene, it's going to do the times2. Again, this is just a test to show that what is going on. Just to show, hey, these functions working. So 5. So we should see a 10 on the screen. Let's make these green. Just so we've got a different color on the screen. And then we'll go to, make sure I save everything. Then I need to place in the level. And you can see that I've got the 64, the 10, and the 15. So this is what, yeah, as expected. So again, the idea here is that if you want a function in your C++ to be usable in your Blueprint class, you need to make it Blueprint callable. That's the big thing here. All right. Let me just drop. Let's go back to. Let me stop the scene. Let's go back to the C++ classes, and I'm just going to drop the class we made into the scene, and as it's snapped 2 zeros in a row because it doesn't have a physical object to be placed. So, but we do now have that class in the scene, which means we're going to go to, for our purposes, we're going to go to the Blueprint class, the level Blueprint tech, and I'm going to create a reference to that. So now that I got a reference to the class that's in the scene, I can then go to times2, and I can just. I tend to like when I reference to use multiple instances of references. So times3 pure. We'll do 7 here. String. In this case, I'm going to make this red just so we have a different color. Okay. And we'll plug in 7 here as well. Connect this across. Compile. So here is, I'm using a reference of that class. I'm using, these public, they're public members, so we can access them. If they were private, if they were protected, we wouldn't have access to them. So just make sure that if you want something that's blueprint callable, most likely, unless it's you're doing inheritance, make sure they're public. So, all right, we jump in, and there is, I did not connect something. There we go. Yeah, I didn't connect this. There we go. Compile, save everything, and so here we go. So I've shown you basically, basically gone in, shown you what you need to do for that first assignment. The idea here is, hey, show me a blue, and I know I don't talk about it in terms of the blueprint class, but basically the idea here is that you're using both blueprint callable and blueprint pure as you need to. Again, I have you create, the method example. Let me see. I'm going to edit this. Boom, right. Two different methods. There we go. So while I've shown you basically, I've shown you how to do the whole thing, but basically extra credit, go through all of the steps. Create the blueprint class, create the child blueprint class, and set those in the scene so that basically go through all the steps that I've shown you in the lecture. I've basically my concern is that if you can. Basically, I'm more concerned with if you can do this with one C++ class. Cool. But the idea here is that if you can, show me all of the steps that you could potentially do, is what I'm asking. I don't know what's going on upstairs, but I'm about to ready to go up and ask. Please stop. All right. Let me save this. All right, so there's a quick start tutorial to variables, timers, and events. So they're going to create a, what do they want you to call it? Okay, so they want you to call the class countdown. So let's actually create this class. I'm going to go over with this right now. Create new C++ class, actor, countdown. Create the class. Reload all. Okay, so it did open up the .h and .cpp. Cool. All right. Ignore. Yeah, Visual Studio is being funny again. Okay. Okay, so they want you to add these to the class. So let's go back to .h. And what they want, they basically, there is the this .h. Come on, just give me this. All right. We're using the .h. So this should be after. So one of the things that they've done is they've got a new core minimal game frame reactor. So this text render component isn't part of the normal core. Once upon a time, there was a Unreal Engine 4 and Unreal Engine 5 are vastly different in terms of how it's structured. You used to have to compile everything, whether you wanted to or not. And they basically, to reduce that compile time, that's why they've got a core minimal here. This is why we've got actor class. This is why the text. Now we need to add. We're going to create a urender text component. So basically, we're going to render text in the world. It's basically going to render text in the world based on where the actor is. Let me see why. Basically, you can use the same class for this assignment. Void update timer display. Let's just grab this right now. Let's jump over to the CPP. And I'm going to go in. Again, attach it to the class. And because it's a void function, not delete it. There we go. So right now, UObject has no member tick. Why is it yelling about? Yeah, I'm not sure why it's yelling about it. Again, this is one of the big issues with Unreal is that you've got issues here, and there's issues in Visual Studio, but they're not actually really errors. Like it's yelling about this generated body. I don't know why. And this is one of the downfalls with Visual Studio. This is where, as you move on, you will get other packages to bring to Visual Studio, or you'll use other IDEs to work with Unreal Engine, because they're better set up to accommodate the weird macros that Unreal has all over the place. So, it is a integer. I am going to just go. Set that to a 0 to start, just so that it has a defined value here. Again, this is not necessarily how I would, count. Yeah, this is the countdown time. I'm going to start with a 0 here, but this will probably get overridden, just so that I have a default value here. One of the things that they're going to do is they're going to create, it's going to create the default object for the render text. So it's going to create the render text, and it's going to call it countdown number. It's going to hit the draw alignment, yay center, set world size 150. The root component is going to be the countdown text, and then countdown time is going to be set to 3. So I need to grab this. Primary actor tick error can false. Are we turning that off? I guess we are. Yeah, so they are going to turn this. We're going to turn, so we're not going to use tick to handle it. And again, the idea is that, remember, when we did our timers, we set up an event to call. So that was like we had a function, we had basically we had an event or a so basically we're using a function or an event to, like we did in our previous course. So basically it's countdown text, set text, and it's doing from integer the max between countdown time. So it's just basically making sure that when this gets run, if the countdown time is below 0, come on, it's going to remain above. So I'm going to save everything. I'm going to jump back to Unreal just to show you that nothing's really wrong, because this is going to compile. Better compile. What is it yelling about? Do I need to? What's it? What's an F text? Stop being helpful. That's a. So I gotta. All right. So code, like, again, they threw this all on one line of code. Wow, this is a mess. All right. Again, this is keeping it. It's converting it from. Does ftext have from? Does it have from? No, it doesn't have it. So. There we go. Okay. So this is where the tutorials can get things wrong. Again, this needs to be, so set text takes the ftext format. So Unreal has strings, it has text, and it has names, which names and text are formatted specifically for specific purposes. So it was generating a string from an integer, but we then now need to take that string and convert it into Unreal's text format, which is what this monstrosity is doing right here. In fact, I'm actually going to do int32 number is equal to, I'm actually take this portion right here out. Just to make this our lives easier. So I'm actually gonna. So basically, I'm writing this out. This is I'm breaking this down to make this more sense. To make, and this is I'm probably gonna send this to Epic. Tell them do this. Number as text. I might actually, I might snip this and give this to you as a text document, part of your canvas, by the way. But the idea here is that, hey, set text needs a text. So this is us jumping through the hoops that we need to do. I should say, yeah, let's be, let me call this display. There we go. So I'm being more specific about what that variable is, and that's a, hey, be generous and name them as what they are. Again, number works. Display number makes more sense. Okay, so move on from that. Let's go back. Let's close the level document, blueprint. These guys. Let's compile. There we go. So now it's now compiled. So, all right. So we've got a function to update. So the next thing that they're going to do, whenever we assign a timer to run a function, we are given a timer handle. So they want a function. When it done, counter is finished, and then we want the timer handle. So let's grab these. So they're advancing the timer. Cancel. All right, let's grab just these. So this is what's going to go in the .h file here. Let's grab these two. And let's attach them to the class. So we've got our advanced timer and we've got countdown has finished. So let's go in. And this is pretty much, I'm not sure. I do countdown time minus. That's update display, uptimer display. If it's below 1, you're going to clear the timer and then call countdown is finished. So let's grab the code in here. Again, minus plus, either side. I typically you'll see that on the other side. There's small differences, but effectively, you'll see it written as countdown time minus minus. You can update the display. If the countdown time is less than 1, we're done counting down, so they'll clear the display. So this is one of those. Every single time you do a tick, basically when you advance it, it's going to try and clear the timer, So just be mindful of that. In this case, I'm just going to grab these 2 lines. Rather than, I'm just going to take this out here. So this is something I'm deviating from the. So they're using set text, that this text portion right here. I don't like this macro anymore because it breaks. It breaks so many things. So I'm going to go and use, hey, f text from string, done. Stopping using the macro is a good thing. Like this is you can use a macro, which is fluky because it's a macro, or you can use proper code. So this is going to create the output string as text. So basically, when the countdown is finished, it's going to output this. So it should, when the timer ends. Actually, this should run only once. Actually, so where is the timer? Here we go. So let's grab this. So in begin play, they want us to then add in update timer display. So countdown time, I'm actually going to go and let's go back to the countdown.h. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to make a countdown timer. And this is going to be a U property. There we go. Edit anywhere. Okay, so this is going to be the time amount of the countdown. This is time remaining of the countdown. Oops, I don't want 2 of these. There we go. And this is something you've seen me do before where I have a time and a timer. And I actually go back to my CPP class. Timer is going to be equal to countdown time. So I'm going to use that right away. I'm actually going to go in and use the time right here. I'm going to set as a default value of 10. so that we can see more than just 3 seconds. 3 seconds is rather small. With that change, I do need to go back to my advance. I need to go to set this to timer down here now. Just no big deal. And I also need to go and set changes to down timer here as well. Okay, so already we've added code, improved this already. In fact, another thing I'd probably send to Epic is to do this out of the box as opposed to, what is the time we want? What is the active timer as we're doing it? They're two different things. Let's not hard code this, please. All right, so let's go back and let's make sure everything's okay. Compile. I think so. The last thing was the get world timer manager, set timer, and it is, what is the countdown timer handle? What is the in object? This object is going to be the object that's handling it. And then what is the what function are we calling? What's the rate? And I'm going to need to check one more time. What is do I loop it? Okay. Yeah, so it is looped. So this is actually doing the timer based on a function. So let's save this. And I believe now that we've got that, I can actually go into my C++ classes. Here's countdown. And I need to flip this around. There we go. If we press play, you will see that there is two, one, done. And there it is. That is the type, pretty much done. Excuse me. Because I can then, because I set that, the variable here to be edited anywhere, I can go and be like, yeah, we can do the 3 as it, off we go. Why is it not taking it? Oh, here we go. Blueprint, read write. That's what I missed. It's the blueprint read write. Here we go. Why is it not taking it? instance. There we go. There we go. It's not taking. I'll have to come look at why that's not working correctly. But that's something I'm doing something something that I'm not doing correctly. But I'm not going to worry about. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about this right now. But the idea here is that, and I'll come back and I'll post something about, hey, what did I do wrong? But the idea here is that, hey, this is it, showing you how to set up a timer. Again, extra credit. Do this again, but basically do it in just pure blueprint. So you know. Because again, the idea here is if you know what you're doing in pure blueprint, the idea is can we translate that back to the C++? Using what you know in blueprint is going to be important to help you understand what's going on with the C++ side. So, any questions about this assignment? Yeah, I'm doing something. Yeah, there's something that I've done. There's a U property I'm not setting property. I'm blanking. Again, we've had that wonderful ice storm, so my brain is mush on what that should have been. And it's something simple. So, but anyways, moving on. Yeah, it's pretty much this is a hey, show me that you understand the difference between a regular function and a pure blueprint function in terms of making functions for nodes. And just show me you can demonstrate that. That's part one. And then part two is just follow this tutorial. I will give you the snippet of what I've done for advanced time so that you can see how I broke that down. And basically, again, jump to the conversion from a number to a text to number to a string to a text to what we want to give it to the format that we want to give it to the function. So I will snip that into a text file and connect that to Canvas, just so that you know that, so you don't have to worry about that conversion. I will actually show. Let me go back to the CPP. Yeah, I'm going to give you. Let me change the order of this. Yeah, I'm going to give you. I'll give you these two functions just so that you can see what's going on. Again, the idea is like you should know about the macro to create the text. You should also know that ftext from string is going to do you the same thing, and it's going to be better code. The macros have existed from seriously Unreal Engine 1. Like they're old. They're old code, and macros magic be here. That's basically what's going on. Macros with the C++, magic be here. Enough magic be here. We don't need to do that anymore. This is a mature engine that has better alternatives. Ftext from string is better than using the text macro. because it's actually, this is actual code. It's not a crazy macro, which is inline, which is dropped in inline code. So. Any questions on the assignment? Anything that I haven't gone over? Okay. Don't worry about due dates. Due dates are now fluid and flexible. We'll see where you finish things off this Thursday, and then see what people can get done. Yeah. So don't worry about the due dates right now. So I know I put in the syllabus about late work. Ignore that right now. Yeah, just ignore that section of the syllabus right now because of what happened this past week. So, any questions? Show of hands that you guys feel comfortable with this assignment. Okay, so you all are. And then I assume Coulter and Jaden, you'll have the recording after I uploaded this. So, let me finish.